Welcome back to Unstoppable Mindset. Today, I want to speak to the person who has big dreams but feels stuck. I want to speak to the individual who knows they were created for more, yet struggles to move consistently toward their goals. I want to remind you of a truth that can transform your entire life. Success is not first a matter of talent, opportunity, education, or luck. Success begins in the mind. Many people are waiting for the perfect circumstances to change their lives. But the truth is that circumstances rarely create success. Disciplined thinking creates success. Your life will always move in the direction of your strongest thoughts. If your mind is filled with doubt, fear, excuses, and distractions, your results will reflect those thoughts. But when your mind is governed by discipline, purpose, and vision, your actions begin to align with your destiny. The greatest battle you will ever fight is not against competition, criticism, or difficult situations. The greatest battle is the battle within yourself. It is the battle between what you know you should do and what you feel like doing. It is the battle between your purpose and your excuses. It is the battle between your vision and your comfort zone. The reason many people never reach their potential is not because they lack ability. It is because they allow their minds to become prisoners of temporary emotions. They make decisions based on feelings instead of purpose. They quit when motivation disappears. They stop when challenges arise. They surrender when progress seems slow. But successful people understand something different. They understand that discipline is continuing to move forward long after motivation has left the room. You see, your mind is like a garden. If you do not intentionally plant the right seeds, negative thoughts will grow naturally. Fear will grow naturally. Procrastination will grow naturally. Doubt will grow naturally. But faith, confidence, focus, and determination must be cultivated deliberately. Every day, you must choose what thoughts deserve permission to stay in your mind. The future you desire is already connected to the discipline you practice today. Every achievement, every breakthrough, every accomplishment begins with a decision to control your thinking. When you learn to master your mind, you begin to master your life. Your mind becomes the control center of your destiny. If you cannot govern your thoughts, you will struggle to govern your actions. But when you train your mind to obey your purpose, your actions become powerful, consistent, and productive. Success is not an event. Success is a process. It is the daily commitment to becoming the person you were designed to be. It is waking up and choosing responsibility over excuses. It is choosing growth over comfort. It is choosing purpose over distraction. It is choosing discipline over convenience. There will be days when you feel tired. There will be moments when obstacles seem overwhelming. There will be seasons when results are invisible. But remember this, your feelings are temporary, while your purpose is permanent. Do not allow temporary emotions to make permanent decisions about your future. The most successful individuals in history understood a principle that many people overlook. They knew that before they could lead others, they had to lead themselves. Before they could build businesses, influence nations, or create lasting impact, they had to gain control over their own thoughts. Self-leadership is the foundation of every form of success. Your mind must become stronger than your excuses. Your vision must become greater than your fears. Your commitment must become more powerful than your distractions. The moment you stop negotiating with your weaknesses and start strengthening your discipline, your life begins to change. Today is not just another day. Today is an opportunity to make a decision. A decision to stop allowing circumstances to dictate your attitude. A decision to stop allowing fear to limit your potential. A decision to stop waiting for motivation and start developing discipline. Because the truth is simple. When you discipline your mind, you position yourself to achieve success, not by accident, not by luck, but by becoming the person capable of creating the future you desire. And that journey begins right now. Success does not begin with what is happening around you. It begins with what is happening within you. Many people spend years trying to change their circumstances without realizing that circumstances are often a reflection of the thoughts they have allowed to dominate their minds. The truth is that your life moves in the direction of your thinking. If your thoughts are controlled by fear, doubt, insecurity, and negativity, those thoughts will eventually influence your actions, your decisions, and ultimately, your results. This is why mastering your thoughts is one of the most important disciplines you can ever develop. Every great achievement in human history started as a thought before it became a reality. Every invention, every business, every movement, and every success story first existed in someone's mind. Before anything can happen in your external world, it must first happen in your internal world. This is why successful individuals place great importance on protecting and directing their thinking. They understand that the mind is the control center of their lives. Many people believe they are waiting for an opportunity, but often what they really need is a change in mindset. Opportunities are frequently overlooked by those whose minds are conditioned to focus on limitations rather than possibilities. Two people can face the exact same situation and experience completely different outcomes because they think differently about it. One person sees an obstacle and immediately gives up. The other sees a challenge and begins looking for solutions. The difference is not the circumstance. The difference is the mindset. Your mind is constantly receiving information from the world around you. Every conversation, every experience, every piece of content you consume influences the way you think. If you are not intentional about what enters your mind, negative influences can slowly shape your beliefs without you even noticing. This is why mental discipline requires vigilance. You must become the guardian of your own thoughts. Not every thought deserves your attention. Not every opinion deserves your acceptance. Not every fear deserves your belief. One of the greatest enemies of success is self-defeating thinking. Many people talk themselves out of opportunities before they even begin. They say things like, "I'm not qualified enough. I'm not talented enough. Someone else can do it better." Or, "What if I fail?" These thoughts become mental barriers that prevent progress. The tragedy is that these limitations often exist only in the mind. The person has the potential to succeed, but their thinking keeps them trapped in a cycle of hesitation and doubt. A disciplined mind learns to challenge negative thoughts instead of automatically accepting them as truth. Just because a thought enters your mind does not mean it is accurate. Fear often speaks loudly, but that does not mean it is right. Doubt often feels convincing, but that does not mean it is correct. You must develop the habit of questioning thoughts that attempt to limit your potential. Ask yourself whether the thought is helping you move toward your purpose or pulling you away from it. Another important aspect of mastering your thoughts is learning to focus on what you can control rather than what you cannot. Many people waste enormous amounts of mental energy worrying about circumstances beyond their influence. They worry about the opinions of others, economic conditions, past mistakes, and uncertain futures. While these concerns may be understandable, they often distract people from taking productive action. A disciplined mind directs its attention toward areas where action is possible. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" it asks, "What can I do next?" Successful people understand that they cannot always control events, but they can control their response to events. This distinction is powerful. Life will present challenges, disappointments, and unexpected setbacks. No one is exempt from difficulties. However, your response to those difficulties often determines whether they become stepping stones or stumbling blocks. The disciplined mind refuses to surrender its power to circumstances. It chooses its attitude regardless of the situation. Mastering your thoughts also means learning to think long-term. Undisciplined thinking focuses only on immediate comfort and temporary emotions. Disciplined thinking considers future consequences and long-term rewards. When you train your mind to see beyond the present moment, you begin making decisions that support your future rather than sabotage it. You become willing to sacrifice temporary pleasure for lasting success. You understand that meaningful achievements require patience, persistence, and self-control. Your environment may influence you, but it does not have to define you. Many people have risen above difficult backgrounds, limited resources, and challenging circumstances because they refused to allow those conditions to control their thinking. They understood that while they could not immediately change everything around them, they could begin by changing what was happening within them. Once their mindset changed, their actions changed. Once their actions changed, their results began to change. The quality of your life is deeply connected to the quality of your thoughts. If you want to transform your future, start by transforming your thinking. Fill your mind with purpose, possibility, faith, determination, and vision. Refuse to allow fear, negativity, and excuses to dominate your mental space. Remember that every day is a battle for control of your mind, and the thoughts that win that battle will influence the direction of your life. The journey towards success begins long before success becomes visible. It begins in the private moments when you choose to discipline your thinking. It begins when you reject limiting beliefs and embrace empowering truths. It begins when you decide that your circumstances will no longer dictate your mindset. Because when you learn to master your thoughts, you place yourself in a position to master your circumstances. And that is where the foundation of lasting success is built. One of the greatest misconceptions about success is the belief that motivation is enough. Many people spend their lives waiting to feel inspired before they take action. They wait for the perfect mood, the perfect moment, or the perfect set of circumstances. They believe that successful people wake up every day feeling excited, energized, and ready to conquer the world. But the reality is very different. The individuals who achieve extraordinary results are not those who are constantly motivated. They are those who have learned to be consistent even when motivation disappears. Motivation is powerful, but it is temporary. It comes and goes like the weather. Some days you feel unstoppable. You feel focused, confident, and ready to pursue your goals. Other days you feel tired, discouraged, and uncertain. If your actions depend entirely on your emotions, your progress will always be inconsistent. You will move forward when you feel good and stop when you feel uncomfortable. Success, however, requires something stronger than emotion. It requires discipline. Discipline is the ability to do what needs to be done, regardless of how you feel. It is the decision to honor your commitments, even when excitement has faded. It is choosing action over excuses and responsibility over comfort. While motivation may help you start, discipline is what helps you finish. Motivation can open the door, but consistency is what carries you through it. Many people begin their journeys with enthusiasm. They start a business with excitement. They begin learning a new skill with passion. They set goals and make plans with great confidence. But after a few weeks, challenges appear. Progress slows down. Results become less visible. The excitement that once fueled them begins to fade. This is where many people quit. Not because they lack ability, but because they depended on motivation rather than discipline. The truth is that success is built through daily actions that may seem small and insignificant at the time. Great achievements are rarely the result of one dramatic effort. They are usually the result of thousands of consistent actions performed over a long period of time. Every successful person understands this principle. They understand that excellence is not an event. Excellence is a habit. Consider the athlete who trains every day. There are mornings when they do not feel like waking up early. There are days when their body feels tired and their mind feels exhausted. Yet they continue training because they understand that success belongs to those who remain committed long after the excitement has disappeared. The same principle applies to every area of life. Whether you want to improve your career, finances, relationships, health, or personal growth, consistency is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. One reason consistency is so powerful is because it creates momentum. Small actions repeated daily eventually produce significant results. A single workout may not transform your body, but hundreds of workouts over time will. Reading a few pages of a book may not make you an expert, but consistent learning over years can make you exceptionally knowledgeable. Saving a small amount of money may seem insignificant today, but repeated consistently, it can create financial stability and opportunity. Success often looks sudden to observers, but behind every visible achievement is a long history of invisible consistency. Another reason consistency matters is because it builds character. Every time you follow through on a commitment, you strengthen your self-discipline. You teach yourself that your actions are not controlled by your emotions. You become a person who can be trusted to do what is necessary regardless of circumstances. This internal transformation is often more valuable than the external results themselves. Success is not only about achieving goals, it is also about becoming the kind of person capable of sustaining those achievements. The disciplined individual understands that feelings cannot be allowed to become the leader of life. Feelings are valuable indicators, but they are poor leaders. If you allow your emotions to determine your actions, you will constantly change direction. There will always be reasons to postpone your goals. There will always be distractions competing for your attention. There will always be moments when comfort seems more appealing than effort. But discipline keeps you moving forward despite these challenges. Consistency also requires patience. We live in a world that often celebrates instant results, but meaningful success usually develops slowly. Seeds do not become trees overnight. Buildings are not constructed in a single day. Mastery is not achieved in a weekend. The disciplined person understands that progress may not always be visible immediately. They continue working because they trust the process. They understand that every consistent action is contributing to a future result, even when that result cannot yet be seen. There will be times when you feel like your efforts are not making a difference. You may work hard and see little immediate reward. You may face setbacks that make you question your progress. During those moments, it is important to remember that consistency often produces results beneath the surface, before those results become visible above the surface. Just as roots grow underground before a tree appears strong above ground, your daily efforts are often creating foundations that will support future success. The most successful people are not necessarily the most talented. They are often the most consistent. Talent may provide an advantage, but discipline multiplies potential. Natural ability can open opportunities, but consistency is what allows someone to maximize those opportunities. History is filled with examples of gifted individuals who failed because they lacked discipline, and ordinary individuals who achieved greatness because they remained committed to consistent improvement. Every day presents a choice. You can be controlled by temporary feelings, or you can be guided by lasting purpose. You can wait for motivation to arrive, or you can develop the discipline to act regardless of your mood. One path leads to inconsistency and frustration. The other leads to growth, achievement, and lasting success. Remember that success is not determined by what you do occasionally. It is determined by what you do consistently. The small actions you repeat each day are shaping your future. The habits you practice are building your destiny. If you want extraordinary results, focus on extraordinary consistency. Stay committed when the excitement fades. Continue when progress seems slow. Keep moving when others stop. Because in the end, discipline will take you places that motivation alone can never reach. One of the most important qualities of a successful person is the ability to grow through challenges instead of being defeated by them. Many people dream about success, but few understand that every meaningful achievement comes packaged with obstacles, setbacks, disappointments, and moments of uncertainty. Success is not the absence of challenges. Success is the ability to face challenges with the right mindset. This is why training your mind to embrace growth and challenges is essential if you want to reach your highest potential. Most people naturally seek comfort. They prefer situations that feel safe, familiar, and predictable. There is nothing wrong with enjoying comfort, but comfort can become dangerous when it prevents growth. Everything that grows must stretch beyond its current condition. A seed must break through the soil before it becomes a tree. A muscle must experience resistance before it becomes stronger. In the same way, a person must face challenges before they can develop greater wisdom, strength, and character. Unfortunately, many people view challenges as evidence that something is wrong. The moment difficulties appear, they begin to question their abilities, their goals, and sometimes even their purpose. They assume that obstacles mean they should stop. However, successful people see challenges differently. They understand that obstacles are often signs that growth is taking place. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" they ask, "What is this teaching me?" This shift in perspective can transform your entire life. When you begin to see challenges as opportunities for growth, you stop fearing them. You stop running from difficulties and start learning from them. Every challenge contains a lesson, and every lesson has the potential to make you stronger, wiser, and more prepared for future opportunities. Think about some of the most respected leaders, entrepreneurs, athletes, and innovators in the world. Their success stories often sound inspiring when told from a distance, but behind every achievement is a history of struggles, failures, criticism, rejection, and perseverance. What separates them from others is not the absence of problems, it is their response to problems. They refuse to allow temporary setbacks to define their future. Failure, in particular, is something that many people fear. They avoid taking risks because they do not want to fail. They avoid pursuing big goals because they worry about making mistakes. Yet failure is one of life's greatest teachers. Every mistake provides information. Every setback reveals an area that can be improved. Every disappointment offers an opportunity to develop resilience. The people who achieve extraordinary success are often those who have learned how to use failure as feedback rather than treating it as a final verdict. A disciplined mind understands that failure is an event, not an identity. Failing at something does not make you a failure. Making a mistake does not mean you are incapable. Experiencing rejection does not mean you are unworthy. These experiences are simply part of the growth process. When you view them correctly, they become stepping stones rather than stumbling blocks. Growth also requires a willingness to learn continuously. Many people stop growing because they believe they already know enough. They become comfortable with their current level of knowledge and skill. However, successful individuals remain students throughout their lives. They understand that growth is a lifelong journey. They constantly seek new knowledge, new perspectives, and new ways to improve themselves. The moment you stop learning, you stop growing. The moment you stop growing, you begin limiting your potential. This is why a disciplined mind remains humble enough to learn from everyone and every experience. Sometimes your greatest lessons will come from success, but often your most valuable lessons will come from challenges. Challenges also reveal strength that you may not know you possess. Many people discover their courage only when they face fear. They discover their resilience only when they experience adversity. They discover their leadership abilities only when circumstances demand responsibility. If life were always easy, many of your greatest qualities would remain hidden. Imagine a piece of coal deep beneath the earth. It becomes a diamond only after experiencing immense pressure. Without pressure, the transformation never occurs. The same principle applies to personal growth. The pressure you experience today may be developing qualities that will become valuable assets tomorrow. What feels like a burden now may actually be preparing you for a greater purpose. Another important aspect of embracing challenges is understanding that growth often happens outside your comfort zone. The comfort zone feels safe because it is familiar. However, familiar experiences rarely produce extraordinary results. Growth occurs when you stretch beyond what is comfortable. It occurs when you attempt something new, face uncertainty, and challenge your existing limitations. This can be uncomfortable at first. Learning new skills feels awkward. Taking on greater responsibilities can feel intimidating. Pursuing ambitious goals may create fear and self-doubt. Yet these feelings are often indicators that growth is taking place. They are signs that you are moving beyond old limitations and expanding your capabilities. The disciplined individual learns to become comfortable with discomfort. They understand that temporary discomfort often leads to long-term growth. Instead of avoiding difficult situations, they face them with courage and determination. They understand that every challenge conquered increases their confidence and strengthens their character. There will be moments in your life when obstacles seem overwhelming. There will be seasons when progress feels slow and circumstances appear unfair. During those moments, remember that challenges are not sent to destroy you. They are opportunities to develop you. They are training grounds for the person you are becoming. Every difficulty you overcome increases your capacity to handle future responsibilities and opportunities. Success is not reserved for people who never encounter problems. Success belongs to those who refuse to surrender when problems appear. It belongs to those who choose growth over comfort, learning over excuses, and perseverance over quitting. When you train your mind to embrace growth and challenges, you transform obstacles into opportunities, setbacks into lessons, and adversity into preparation for greater success. The strongest people are not those who have avoided struggles. The strongest people are those who have faced struggles, learned from them, grown through them, and emerged wiser than before. That is the power of a disciplined mind. It does not fear challenges. It uses them as tools for growth, knowing that every challenge overcome brings you one step closer to the success you were created to achieve. Success is not simply the result of hard work. Many people work hard every day and still feel unfulfilled, distracted, and uncertain about where their lives are headed. The missing element is often purpose. Hard work without purpose can lead to exhaustion. Effort without vision can lead to frustration. Activity without direction can lead to wasted potential. This is why one of the most important disciplines you can develop is learning to align your mind with your purpose and vision. Every person has the ability to think, but not every person has learned how to think in the direction of their purpose. A focused mind is one of the most powerful forces in the world. When your thoughts, decisions, habits, and actions are aligned with a clear vision, you begin to move forward with intention. You stop drifting through life and start directing your life. Instead of reacting to circumstances, you begin responding according to a purpose that is greater than your temporary emotions. One of the greatest challenges people face today is distraction. We live in a world filled with endless information, endless entertainment, and endless opportunities to lose focus. Every day there are countless voices competing for your attention. If you do not have a clear vision for your life, those voices will determine your direction. You will spend your time pursuing goals that do not belong to you, chasing approval from people who cannot define your future, and investing energy into things that do not contribute to your purpose. Vision gives your life direction. It acts as a compass that guides your decisions and priorities. When you know where you are going, it becomes easier to determine what deserves your attention and what does not. A person without vision is easily distracted because everything appears important. A person with vision understands that not everything deserves equal attention. They know how to say no to things that do not align with their purpose. Many people confuse movement with progress. They stay busy throughout the day, yet they remain stuck in the same place year after year. Being busy is not the same as being productive. Productivity is not measured by how much you do. Productivity is measured by how much of what you do actually moves you closer to your vision. This is why purpose is so important. Purpose helps you distinguish between activities that create progress and activities that simply consume time. When your mind is aligned with a meaningful purpose, your daily actions begin to carry greater significance. Small tasks no longer feel meaningless because you understand how they contribute to a larger vision. You become willing to make sacrifices because you recognize that temporary discomfort is helping you build a better future. Purpose gives strength to discipline. It provides a reason to continue when challenges arise and motivation fades. One reason many people struggle with consistency is because they lack a clear vision. It is difficult to remain committed to something when you do not understand why it matters. But when you have a compelling vision, discipline becomes easier. Your purpose creates motivation from within. It reminds you why your efforts are necessary. It helps you remain focused even when progress seems slow. A disciplined mind constantly returns to its vision. It does not allow temporary setbacks to erase long-term goals. It does not allow criticism to destroy confidence. It does not allow fear to dictate decisions. Instead, it remains anchored in purpose. This does not mean the journey will be easy. There will still be obstacles, disappointments, and unexpected challenges. However, a person who knows their purpose possesses a level of resilience that circumstances cannot easily destroy. Purpose also helps you overcome comparison. One of the greatest thieves of focus is constantly comparing yourself to others. Many people become discouraged because they spend more time watching someone else's journey than developing their own. They compare their beginning to someone else's success. They compare their struggles to someone else's achievements. As a result, they lose sight of their unique purpose. The truth is that your vision was not given to someone else. Your assignment is not to become another person. Your assignment is to become the best version of yourself. When your mind is aligned with your purpose, comparison begins to lose its power. You stop measuring your progress according to other people's timelines and start focusing on your own growth. You understand that success is not about being better than someone else. Success is about fulfilling the potential that has been placed within you. Another benefit of aligning your mind with purpose is that it creates clarity during difficult decisions. Life often presents multiple options, opportunities, and paths. Without purpose, these choices can become overwhelming. However, when you know your vision, decision-making becomes simpler. You can evaluate opportunities based on whether they support or distract from your purpose. This clarity prevents you from wasting years pursuing things that are not connected to your destiny. Purpose also fuels perseverance. Every meaningful goal requires time, patience, and persistence. There will be moments when quitting seems easier than continuing. There will be seasons when results are delayed. During those moments, vision becomes essential. Vision allows you to see beyond your present circumstances. It reminds you of what you are working toward. It helps you endure temporary difficulties because you remain focused on a greater future. The disciplined mind understands that success is not accidental. It is intentional. It is the result of consistently aligning thoughts, actions, and habits with a meaningful vision. Every day becomes an opportunity to move closer to that vision. Every decision becomes a chance to reinforce your purpose. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to strengthen your commitment. You were not created to wander through life without direction. You were created with potential, purpose, and the ability to make a meaningful impact. But potential alone is not enough. Purpose alone is not enough. Vision alone is not enough. They must be supported by a disciplined mind that remains focused despite distractions, obstacles, and delays. When your mind is aligned with your purpose, your energy becomes concentrated rather than scattered. Your decisions become intentional rather than impulsive. Your actions become productive rather than random. You begin to live with clarity, confidence, and direction. And as this alignment continues day after day, year after year, you position yourself to achieve the success that comes from living according to your vision and fulfilling the purpose for which you were created.